Now, happy to be joined by Joe Sonka of InsiderLouisville.com to talk about all of the big news from the elections on Tuesday. Joe, how are you?
Doing great. How are you?
I'm doing wonderful. Okay, so Republican Democratic governor's race, we see Bevin and Beshear. But when you look back at the results on Tuesday, what most surprised you about what happened?
The biggest surprise was Bevin's percent of the vote that he got. It's rare that you see well, I guess it's not Kentucky because you have to go back to Ernie Fletcher in 2007 to see an embattled Republican incumbent governor struggle to get over 50% of the vote. Ernie Fletcher had about 50% that year. Bevin struggled to get 52%. And basically 48% of Republican voters sent a message by going to the polls and voting for someone else. I think people didn't expect Bevin to get like 80% of the vote or something crazy, but the percent of the vote that Robert Goforth got and some of the other little-known Republican candidates was pretty surprising.
Yeah, I was shocked by that. I mean, I thought he would get 65, maybe something like that. Yeah. When a Republican governor, when he gets only 52% of his own party, does that suggest to you somebody who has major work to do just to even shore up the base for November?
Well, I think both general election candidates, Bevin and Beshear, have a lot of work to do to get their base in line. There's a lot of, both parties are really fractured, and especially if you look at regionally. I think the funny thing is that Bevin and Beshear both appear to have huge weaknesses in eastern Kentucky, where Robert Goforth crushed Beshear in a lot of the coal counties in the east and some of the rural counties in the south. And Rocky Adkins won just about every county east of I-75. I think he got about 68% of the vote there, where Beshear only got around 17. So both candidates have a lot of work to do to shore up the base for the general.
Beshear's win was about 5 or 6 points, which probably less than it looked like maybe a few months ago, but then all of a sudden the race got closer. What was more surprising to you, Rocky Atkins' strength or maybe Adam Edlin's weakness?
You know, that race honestly didn't surprise me very much. I thought Beshear came in with a huge name ID advantage, and Edlin and Adkins were really playing catch up for the whole time, and they just didn't have enough time to make up for that. I'm not really surprised that Rocky Adkins finished second. You figured he was going to do really strong in eastern Kentucky and a lot of the rural counties. What really did him in was Louisville. It was the biggest county in the state, and he barely got 10%. He lost by Beshear by tens and thousands of votes. So it's really hard to win a statewide race when you do that poorly in Louisville.
So let's look at the matchup for a second. I'll tell you my assertion. You tell me if you agree or disagree. I think it's going to be a lot easier for Andy Beshear to get the Democrats that didn't vote for him to vote for him this time because they hate Bevin so much. I actually think it's going to be a little harder for Bevin to get the Goforth people. Do you agree or disagree with that assertion?
I think it's going to be close. I think on Beshear's side, you have a lot of anti-Bevin sentiment, and that's going to get everyone back in line. I think where they're going to have the most trouble is in eastern Kentucky, because you would have to assume that Matt Bevin is going to get Donald Trump to do whatever he can to help out where he's especially popular in that area. And I think if you hear 6 months of ads trying to paint Andy Beshear and tie him to national Democrats that aren't popular, tie him to Hillary Clinton, which they're already doing, I think that's eventually going to wear down a lot of the people in eastern Kentucky and move them towards Bevin. The only question is whether their love of Trump is going to counteract their dislike of Matt Bevin. I think that's one of the huge questions that we're going to see this fall.
Yeah, I agree with you. I do think, however, there's a chance Trump might see a loser coming and not spend as much time here as they hoped. You're good at predictions. I'll give you this. You told me Trump was going to win in 2015. You picked Bevin. 2019, I know there's time for it to change, but as of today, who's more likely to win, Bevin or Beshear?
I still think Bevin's the favorite, but there's so many factors that it's really hard to give you any set prediction. I think Bevin is the favorite as long as he's basically his own worst enemy. The only thing that can keep Bevin from winning is really Bevin's mouth when he's in front of a microphone and he's ad-libbing and attacking teachers or some other really popular group around the state.
It would be amazing if the most unpopular governor in America wins again. I think Beshear wins, but I think it's going to be very close. Joe Sonka, Insider Louisville, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, Matt.